50 Cent is prepared to drop major names connected to Diddy's alleged trafficking ring, and he's not backing down. According to sources close to the situation, 50 is not only cooperating behind the scenes, but may also be willing to testify if needed. Given the history and the rivalry between the two, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise ever, to be honest. What started as online shots is now turning into real, legal action, with 50 holding documents that link high-profile figures across music, film, fashion, and sports to Diddy's circle. And you already know Diddy is facing serious charges in New York, including S-trafficking and racketeering. His empire, from Bad Boy Records to Revolt, Kyrock, and those infamous white parties, is now under heavy scrutiny. And with 50's involvement, the pressure is building on who else may have known or participated. Court filings could expose wire transfers, emails, and contracts detailing how money and influence moved around Diddy's network. Those who were once regulars at his parties, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Usher, Mary J. Blige, and more, might now be looked at under a different light. While Diddy has pleaded not guilty, the investigation is expanding. Industry connections, favors, and mentorships are now potential evidence. 50's legal moves could force a lot of big names into the spotlight, and if he's called to testify, it could blow the case wide open. We're talking wire transfers, NDA leaks, emails, and paper trails. The same parties where celebs like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Usher, Ashton Kutcher, and Mary J. Blige used to pop bottles could now be flipped into exhibits. And when that kind of legal heat hits, nobody's fame is going to be enough to duck the fallout. Now, officially, 50 Cent hasn't been listed as a cooperating witness. He hasn't been confirmed to testify. However, what is confirmed is that he's producing a docu-series and continuing to blast Diddy across social media. But let's be real, 50's not just trolling for likes anymore. He's strategic and calculated. And the way he's been moving lately tells us that something's brewing.
What does it feel like all these years, you being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They say that you're a hater. They say you're crazy.
So while no court documents have named him as a witness yet, don't be shocked if that changes. Because if there's one thing we know about 50, he doesn't fire shots without a plan. And with this much smoke, a whole lot of people are wondering when the fire hits court. Now you might be out here wondering, why would 50 do such a thing? Why would he be the one to get himself involved like that? Well, because this thing runs deeper than you think. Diddy was always one of 50's biggest rivals, and to deal a knockout punch in court by showing receipts, it would be like the ultimate victory lap. But the tension in history between 50 Cent and Diddy is hella long, and it has been brewing for years. All that history is catching up hard now, with rumors swirling about 50 Cent potentially testifying in Diddy's ongoing legal drama. Back in 2003, both Diddy and 50 were on top of the world, absolute powerhouses in hip-hop. That year, at the MTV VMAs, Diddy actually presented 50 Cent with the award for Best Rap Video for In the Club. The vibes were friendly, the dap was exchanged, the moment felt major, but that energy did not last. Because later that year, something went down that 50 never forgot. At the wedding of music exec Chris Lighty, a man both Diddy and 50 were close to, there was this super awkward interaction that left 50 feeling all kinds of weird. Years later on The Breakfast Club, 50 revealed that Diddy approached him at the wedding and randomly said, "Yo, let me take you shopping." 50 was confused and low-key disturbed, saying he felt like it was either a joke, a mind game, or something else entirely. And it didn't stop there. 50 also brought this up again on Drink Champs in 2020, saying the whole vibe at the wedding was off. He was seated with Diddy and Steve Stout, and apparently Diddy doubled down on that "let's go shopping" offer and even added, "I'll pay for everything." And 50 was not here for it. He said it made him uncomfortable, like Diddy was trying to play him, assert control, or something deeper.
We gotta kick it.
This is
Pause.
Okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. And he's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it.
Now, whether it was just awkward flirtation, a misunderstood joke, or low-key shade, we don't know. But what's clear is that this left a sour taste in 50's mouth, and after that, he started taking subliminal shots at Diddy in his music. Just months after that wedding, 50 released Poppin' Them Thangs, a G-Unit track with a slick line referencing Diddy's infamous altercation with exec Steve Stout. And while they were seen together at events in 2004 like everything was cool, the beef quietly reignited a couple of years later. In 2005, 50 tried to sign Mace, who was once one of Diddy's biggest stars at Bad Boy Records, and that's when things got petty. 50 featured Mace in the Window Shopper music video, which wasn't just about flaunting cash. It was a direct callback to that shopping comment Diddy made, except now 50 was flipping the script, taking Mace shopping and flexing that he had the upper hand. The subtext was strong, and if you go lyric by lyric through Window Shopper, there are lines that seem totally aimed at Diddy, talking about jealousy, fakeness, people being mad when they see him drive by. Some fans believe 50 may have been hinting at some of the stuff Diddy's now accused of. Fast forward to now, and it's becoming more and more clear. 50 was building a case before there was a case. Even in a 2014 interview with Funk Flex, he accused Diddy of doing sucker stuff over the Mace deal. He talked about how Diddy tried to make it seem like everything was cool, but then delayed the release of Mace from his contract by stalling on the money side. 50 called him out for being manipulative and phony, and the tension never fully died. But there's more layers to this beat. Back in August 2006, the street started whispering after 50 Cent dropped a bombshell on a remix of Dead Prez's iconic track, Hip Hop. On this remix, 50 straight up accused Diddy of knowing who killed Biggie and being too scared to do anything about it. He was on go, claiming him and G-Unit ran hip hop, not Diddy, not Bad Boy. And 50 was not just slick with the bars, he went off in the outro, giving Diddy a whole verbal beatdown. He mocked the white party, saying he ain't getting invited now. But guess what? He didn't want to go anyway and wasn't trying to hang around Diddy's punks. Oh, but it didn't stop there. 50 aired out some real petty grievances, claiming Diddy blocked him from signing Mace, wasted his time and money, and owed him $50,000 in travel expenses. Then came the real shade. 50 claimed someone told him something about Diddy that he could expose, but didn't. Fast forward to 2024, and this diss track is going viral again. Folks online are joking the FBI had it on repeat during the raids. The streets never forget, but see, 50 didn't stop with disses. He let the money talk. In August 2007, Forbes dropped their hip-hop cash kings list, and guess who leapfrogged Diddy? Yup, 50 came in at number 2, just behind Jay-Z, with Diddy in 3rd. Now here's the gag, the vitamin water deal, where 50 made a rumored 9-figure bag, had just gone through before the list dropped. So, if the ink dried a week earlier, 50 might have been number 1. And let's talk about that legendary moment at the Screamfest tour at Madison Square Garden. Picture it, Jay-Z, Kanye, T.I., Diddy, and 50 Cent, all on stage together. But when 50 pulled up unannounced, you could feel the tension. Jay's intro was mad awkward, like, "Ay, you can get down, you can get down." He sounded shook. Fans believe 50 crashed the set and basically forced his presence, flexing like, "I run NY now." Kanye performs "Can't Tell Me Nothing," while 50 and Diddy run around the stage like two uncles at a BBQ doing too much. 50 literally starts counting money on stage and stays dodging Diddy, who's creeping up like he's trying to pull something. And then Diddy spanks Jay-Z on stage in front of the whole crowd. Like, what was happening? Some fans still believe this was a weird power play. Toward the end, Diddy throws his arm around both Yeah and 50, but 50 low-key shrugs him off. You could see that tension. These men were smiling through gritted teeth. One minute 50's airing out Diddy's business, the next he's doing collabs and play fights for the cameras. But even during the buddy-buddy moments, there's always this undercurrent of power games and pettiness. Now we might just get to see the ultimate pettiness of them all. 50 Cent in court dropping names. Speaking of names, we've already heard a bunch of them in the first 2 days of Diddy's trial. First up is Cassie, Diddy's ex. She's not hiding behind any alias or fake name. She's testifying under her real name, and she's the one who basically set everything in motion with that lawsuit she filed back in 2023. That lawsuit is what opened the floodgates and brought federal eyes onto Diddy. Now aside from Cassie, there are 3 more people accusing Diddy of some serious things. They're being referred to as Victim 2, Victim 3, and Victim 4. These folks are using pseudonyms for privacy reasons. From what's being reported, Victim 3 might not actually testify because of some personal issues, but the other 2 are expected to speak out. Then there's a whole lineup of people who aren't necessarily victims, but they're still expected to show up in court or have their names come up. That includes some of Diddy's former romantic partners, a business associate, a male sex worker, and even one of Cassie's close friends. These are people people who were close enough to Diddy to possibly know what was really going on behind the scenes. Now here's where things get extra spicy. The celeb names. There was a jury list that had about 190 names on it, and mixed into that list were some major A-listers. We're talking Kanye West, Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, and yes, even Mike Myers. Their names being on that list doesn't mean they're going to show up in court. It just means there's a chance they might get brought up or asked about during the trial. Basically, the jury needs to be aware of any possible connections. And of course, Jennifer Lopez and Justin Bieber are also being talked about in the media. They haven't been confirmed as witnesses, but there's been a lot of chatter that they're trying to stay as far away from the situation as possible. They might not be directly involved, but their names being mentioned in the same conversation has people raising eyebrows. Now, how are all these people actually tied to the mess Diddy is caught up in? Let's start with Cassie. She's the center of this storm. Her lawsuit didn't just accuse Diddy of assault and trafficking type behavior. It also laid out a pattern of manipulation, drugs, control, and wild freak-off parties. She basically painted a picture of Diddy as this power-hungry figure using his money and status to exploit people, especially women. Her case opened the door for feds to start digging into years of Diddy's behavior, not just with her, but with others too. Now on to victim 2 through victim 4. We don't have names for them, but what's being said is that their stories echo Cassie's. These weren't one-off incidents. The claims suggest there was a system in place, and Diddy had a whole setup to trap people in these toxic, abusive, and sometimes violent situations. One of them had ties to the same lifestyle Cassie described, being pushed into parties, being watched, being recorded. That's why their testimony could help prove this wasn't just Cassie exaggerating. This was a pattern. As for the former lovers, the male sex worker, the business associate, and Cassie's friend, they're all possible puzzle pieces. Some were present at the freak-offs. Some might have helped set them up. Others could have seen things that can either confirm or deny what Cassie and the other victims are saying. People think that the male sex worker might have been involved in some of those parties or situations where Diddy's behavior crossed the line. Now let's move to the celebs. Ye's name got dropped in a way that made people pause. There's been long-standing talk about Kanye attending some of Diddy's private events, especially those industry-type parties that are invite-only and real exclusive. There's no public allegation against him, but him being on the juror list signals that his name might come up when witnesses start describing who was in the room for some of these wild nights. Michael B. Jordan and Kid Cudi, they were also on that potential witness list. Now, again, we don't know if they'll actually show up, but their presence on that list suggests someone believes they might have seen something or heard something. In the past, Cudi's been outspoken about not vibing with certain Hollywood circles, so people are wondering if he might be brought in to share his perspective, maybe even to distance himself from whatever Diddy had going on. But Mike Myers is the one who threw folks off at first. Diddy's been in the game for decades, and he's had crossover moments with actors, directors, and creatives across the industry. It's possible Mike attended an event or two or worked on a project where something off happened. Doesn't mean he's involved, but the court wants the jury prepped in case his name comes up. Then we got Jennifer Lopez and Justin Bieber. Jennifer, of course, has a history with Diddy. They dated back in the day and were even involved in that 1999 nightclub incident where shots were fired. While J-Lo hasn't been accused of anything, folks are side-eyeing whether she saw anything questionable during that relationship. Recently, she's been very quiet about all this, and media insiders say she's trying to stay far away to protect her brand. Justin Bieber, his name being brought up caused a lot of speculation. He's been known to hang out with Diddy when he was younger, and people have always questioned the dynamic there. No official claims have come out linking him directly to the accusations, but his name coming up shows how deep Diddy's ties run, especially with young artists. Bottom line, Diddy's world wasn't just glitz and glam. The people surrounding him, from music stars to actors, may have either been exposed to or caught glimpses of what was going down behind closed doors. Some of them could help build the case. Others might be dragged into it simply because of proximity. Another thing that we have news on is the fact that finding a proper jury for this case has been a pain. The jury selection and trial setup in Diddy's case is already giving very much scandal, strategy, and serious consequences. And the courtroom is about to be the main stage for a wild showdown. So first up, it's all going down in Manhattan Federal Court. The goal is to pick 12 jurors and 6 alternates out of a group of 45 people. And this isn't some random crowd either. We're talking folks from all kinds of walks of life. Teachers, scientists, actors, even media professionals. The idea is to pull together a group that isn't too tapped into the Diddy gossip already floating around. But let's be real, it's everywhere right now. Both the prosecutors and Diddy's defense team get to toss out a few jurors they don't want. The prosecution can strike 6, while Diddy's side gets 10, and both get 3 more when it comes to the alternates. That means both sides are being real strategic about who they want sitting in that box. Because with the kind of evidence and names being tossed around, the jury's vibe could make or break this trial. Now, here's where it gets extra juicy. Jurors are also being asked if they know any of the 190 celebs who might get mentioned during the trial. That means anyone from Cassie to Kanye to Justin Bieber could come up. And they need to make sure the jury doesn't have personal connections or opinions that could sway their judgment. They're also being grilled on how much media coverage they've seen. Because let's be honest, this case has been all over the internet, and you'd have to be living under a rock not to have heard at least something. Now, for the trial itself, Diddy's facing 5 serious charges, but he's already pleaded not guilty and turned down a plea deal, which means he's betting on a win in court, not a settlement behind closed doors. Opening statements are locked in for May 12th, and they're expecting this thing to last several weeks. So we're looking at a long, drawn-out trial, not a quick in-and-out situation. And when it comes to evidence, the feds are pulling out everything. There's allegedly hotel surveillance footage, details about those freak-offs, and even items that were seized when Diddy's properties got raided. They're going all in trying to build a picture of a long-running setup, not just a one-time mistake. Not to mention, if 50 Cent joins the party, who knows what else could be thrown in the mix. And since this is a high-profile case with major celebs in the game, they're being extra careful with the jury. They need people who won't be blinded by fame or influenced by social media drama. With the kind of attention this case is getting, finding a truly impartial jury might be one of the hardest parts. So yeah, this is shaping up to be one of the most talked about trials in hip-hop and celebrity history. We've got courtroom strategy, a stacked witness list, and heavy charges, all in the middle of a media circus. How do you think this one is going to wrap up, and do you see 50 Cent getting himself involved with the Diddy trial? Let us know all about it.